see.
We'll give this a go.
We're giving it a go. We don't know if it works. It's time. Oh, he's not on yet.
It's not on yet.
Oh, we practiced this last night as well.
We did practice it.
So hopefully Steve's going to join pretty soon. Marie's going to
message him just to make sure he's remembered.
So Steve's done some really good stuff at SBG Bradford around Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Traditionally, like, our club's been mainly kind of a mixed martial arts club. We'd always have significantly more people wanting to do mixed martial arts than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think Steve's really sort of driven, especially the competition side, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So it'd be great to kind of go through some of his ideas and some of his thoughts. Murgy's just joined, so
excellent. Okay.
Let's bring the big guy in. There we go, Mr. Murgatroyd. Get ready, people. Are you ready on the pony? What's happening? Saving here, accepted. Ah, we're waiting
for it.
Always waiting for Steve.
He's keeping us waiting on purpose. I think it's all a ploy. Dory's out.
He might be a couple of seconds. So we've got a technical delay at Steve's end. So he's just gone. Oh, you're ridiculous. She's a hey. Go on, Steve, talk so we can test the sound.
Oh no.
What's happening here? Turn our volume up.
There we go. Turn volume up as well.
We're going to turn our volume up as well, Steve. There we go. Try now, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Is that right, please?
We practiced this last night as well. All of us practiced. Stevie, talk to us, baby.
Can you hear us?
Steve?
Hello?
Oh, he's left. He's gone. He's had enough. Can anyone else hear us? Yeah, I'll just move it again. Slightly. Oh. Hang on. There we go. Yeah. Let's view that. Let's go live with Stevie Murgatroyd. Let's try again.
Dun, dun, dun. Waiting for him.
Waiting. Always waiting. Come on.
Can you hear me?
Yay! How's it going, Steve?
Your connection doesn't look great.
Oh.
Have you got somewhere with a better connection? Oh. We can't hear you again now.
Are you connected to your Wi-Fi? So for you guys who are listening to this, he's struggling. What are you doing? Have you got all plugged into your phone, Steve?
Can't hear you. Can't hear you, Steve.
Is there a youth about who can help?
Get Hannah. She'll fix it.
Where's that noise coming from?
That's us. That's
all right.
Well, it's not us. It's outside.
Something somewhere. Right. God damn it.
Should we end it and try it again?
Should we try again? We'll end it and try again, Steve.
So there, yeah.
At the top end.
Oh, end the live stream?
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're ending the live stream. We're going to...
Come on, Stevie. Just send a message.
No.
Steve's back. No. Hey, James.
Hello.
Andy's back.
Hey, right okay.
Then.
So let's give it another go. Waiting for Murgy.
Bob's back. Gillian's here. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, right, we can hear you.
Hurrah!
Hey! Okay, so we're gonna have to do the introduction. Huh?
Start again.
We're gonna have to do the introduction again, Stevie, because it'll be on the other video. Stephen Murgatroyd, brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The general, because of his stance on how to train in Jiu-Jitsu and how he implements said system. Me and Steve go back to 2000, I think it is, when we first started training together. Stephen Murgatroyd, thank you for getting on the pony.
Hurrah! Eventually.
Eventually, you're doing good, man. That's all right. Did you work out?
It was easier in the car.
Yeah, no.
Of course I did, yeah.
Right then. So Marie's wrote some questions because I'm not very good at this. Because like we've known each other for so long, sometimes we skip over some stuff. How did we meet?
Don't you know?
I remember a strange email from a strange man from a strange forum, sometime, somewhere, someplace.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it was SFUK, the old forum before Facebook and stuff. And I'd been watching a lot of Jeff Thompson stuff, and I went on there, and I think had you competed somewhere? That must have been like really, really early. And I mentioned that you'd competed somewhere in West Yorkshire or in Bradford or something.
Yeah, so I think that will have been with Darren Curry's first Valetudo, amateur Valetudo event. I think that was like December of 2000. Yeah, I think 2000 when the oil shortage happened.
So 20 years, pretty much, nearly.
Yeah, shit, yeah, 20 years.
Yeah, I had it made October time, but I don't know. You're probably right. It was definitely.
I think you're right, mate. I think October makes more sense. Yeah.
And then we went to was it Nigel Fell's gym?
Yeah.
Round the corner from where we are now. And we did an MMA class with Darren Ward.
Yeah.
And Max Gillespie.
Yeah. God, they were some fun times, weren't they?
And it does. It sounds a bit weird now, but the ring had carpet on the bottom of it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there were no padding. Yeah. It was layers of carpet that made up the ring.
Wow. Carpet burner? Is that a problem?
Fuck, yeah. A rope around the edge like a ring. It was bizarre, really.
Well, to be fair, he put some
still going anyway?
tape around the rope, didn't he? So it was like a rope, but it was still rope.
Yeah. I wonder, is he still going or what? He must be about 100 now.
I think he passed away. I've got a feeling he passed away.
Really?
Someone else took over his gym. I forget the chap's name, but yeah, one of the lads who came to join a few months ago, he said that's where it started, and it's not Nigel anymore. I think he passed on.
Right, because he must have been in his 60s then, or in his 50s.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's always been about 60 in my mind for the last 20 years. Yeah, I think he went over, didn't he? Quite late on. I think he must have been in his 40s to early 50s, and went and trained in Thailand. And I think he actually fought as well. And then came back to Bradford and opened Monk's Ring or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, that's where I met you. Yeah.
So was it MMA that you got into first then?
It wasn't even called MMA then, to be fair.
Mm.
It was literally. I mean that was a like a Valetudo class, wasn't it? I suppose they'd called it sort of.
Yeah.
It was the Jeff Thompson stuff, because before that I'd done kickboxing for about 4 years at Bradford University, and I started reading all the Jeff Thompson Animal Day book was the main thing, and that was talking about grappling jiu-jitsu and wrestling back then. So it was more to do with self-defense than sport as such. It was like, I thought my striking was all right. So, but I needed some ground stuff for what Jeff Thompson was saying. I went to Punti Judo around probably about 6 months before that and got battered. So I didn't go back for 20 years.
I think that was part of the problem, weren't it? Like everyone were trying to work stuff out and do individual stuff to try and replicate a MMA fight or a street fight or something like that. So, you know, you were going into kind of like judo, you're going into Thai box, and you were having to travel to about 5 different places. You know, I mean, we used to travel. I mean, we went all over, didn't we? To be fair, like we trained in Bradford, Kickers, which is where we ended up kind of having our Tuesday night session, which usually ended up into a dance off. And then we go over to Anaconda at the time over in Huddersfield with Andy Williams. And yeah, so it were a bit of a. It's hard to piece it all back together. I mean, you know, 20 years ago, like it doesn't feel like that. It feels stranger, like maybe a couple of years ago we were doing that kind of thing.
Yeah. It's nice to see Andy Williams still doing it.
Yeah. He, I catch up with him every now and again at competitions and stuff, and I think he's put a little bit more time into kind of the kids side of it. He's got quite a strong kids team, but he's now starting to develop some adults from what I can see in the jiu-jitsu side. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. I think we trained together for a couple of months, didn't we? And then you came to America with me, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was it a month or was it?
That was a good idea.
Why not?
No, I think. Well, if that was around the October time, and we went to America in the March, so it was about 5 months really.
See, that feels better. That doesn't feel as weird. Because like when I think about it, I always thought like a month, and I'm like, oh, can I come? I'm like, yeah, come on, we'll go to America. We'll go to some strange guy's gym, and we'll sleep there. Don't really know him. I've not put a deposit down. He's just literally said, come over to America and you can sleep in the gym, and off we trot, didn't we? We just kind of wandered off and went and did that.
Yeah. It was a bit airy. What?
Go on, mate.
It was a bit air raising when we first got there, and we were just driving around an industrial estate looking for somewhere where to sleep.
Oh, I can't forget that taxi ride. It was so bad. I wrote the address on a piece of paper, but I think there was something that I wrote which wasn't clear to the driver, so he did take us on a bit of a drive all over and we couldn't find it. So I think we had like an extra half an hour in car, didn't we, just driving around this industrial estate trying to find the place. We finally got there, and then we knocked on the door, and this guy answered the door, and he said, I don't know anything about you guys coming. I'm like, oh shit. So like we've literally just arrived at this gym. There's a guy who's, because they had sleeping quarters in the gym at Chris Brennan's, and he weren't going to let us in. And he tried contacting Chris Brennan, but Chris was driving to a fight somewhere. So yeah, I mean, that night I thought we were going to end up sleeping on the street or something. It's fallen over.
It was getting, because we'd had like 15 hours of flying, and I'm sat in the back of this taxi going, have you got that? Is that address right, Mark? He was all getting a bit touchy for a bit. And he's shuffling pieces of paper around in his bag. I'm thinking, fucking hell, what am I doing here?
You questioning your life choices at that point.
To be fair,
yeah.
To be fair, it were right. He couldn't read my writing. That was a problem. Fucking yank.
And it was, but Chris Brennan wasn't there at all. It was probably one of the most badly organised trips you've ever done, wasn't it?
It's not. I mean, there's been way worse. Believe me. But yeah, so we went off to America. We trained over there for a week, which were pretty cool at the time, weren't it? Because you think back to 2001, you know, we went over and we trained for a week at, you know, we were a full-time academy, and I mean, the academy was beautiful as well, weren't it? You know,
Yeah, yeah, it was spot on.
yeah, sleeping
You
quarters.
had the King of the Cage there, didn't
Yeah, yeah, and that were probably one of the best cages at the time as well, weren't it? I mean, the matting and everything on that cage were beautiful, weren't it?
Yeah. Well, I think he the King of the Cage let him have it there just because he would look after it for him.
Mm.
Was the thing on it? And I'm pretty sure that the people from Chris Brennan's would help put the cage up as well when it went up.
Right.
Because the guy who runs Next Generation in Liverpool, Paul
Rimmer.
What's his name? Paul Rimmer went out. I remember seeing on SFUK that he was there either just before or just after we went, but he stayed there for quite a while. And I remember seeing a picture on there of him putting the cage up for him and stuff. So,
right. Oh, okay.
bit of chat, bit of free labour for him on it, but
yeah.
And that King of the Cage was interesting because they used to do it outside, didn't they?
Yeah, like an Indian reservation, because in California that's the only place that they legally could hold any mixed martial arts events.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they did have one which.
So if it started raining.
yeah. Yeah. There was one, weren't they, called Wet and Wild? Honestly, it's called Wet and Wild.
Was that with the bikinis on?
Different one, see. I think we've been watching a different one. I think it's King Cage 3 or 4. But yeah, they literally kept the fights going, and people were fighting as the ring was piss wet through them. The actual matting, it like foam with like a PVC over the top, so it was really slippy when it got wet. So like when you're watching them fight, have you ever seen?
Yeah, it was mad.
Here Comes the Boom. There's a bit in that film where two people are actually fighting, and they're fighting, and it starts raining and slipping all over and stuff. It's because of King of the Cage.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Then?
What do you mean?
Like doing it outside, like. Was that something that was a new thing, and they just did it a couple of times? Or
I think the venue was for a long time was outside. I think Gladiator Challenge, which was the feeder show for King of the Cage, they did it outside as well. But it's in California, so I mean, how much rain do they normally get? So
yeah,
I think
it was just a freak weather conditions, wasn't it? Because it was like doing it in Vegas or something where you pisses it down once a year or something like that. So.
Oh dear. So, what's our next question for Stevie? So we've talked about how long we've been training. You did have a bit of time off though, didn't you, Steve?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to give us more money.
So when you took time and then came back into it, did you come back into BJJ, or like what have you trained?
Well, I had 6 years off. I wasn't going to take 6 years off. I went back to university. I decided to change careers so that I could go back to university, so that I didn't have to work and I could have more time to train.
All right, okay.
But it was hard. And I ended up doing a lot more studying than what I should have done.
Studying?
Well, yeah, and then I got pissed. I just enjoyed my mid-20s. I got a bit carried away with it. I moved to York for a year, and then I just drifted away from it for a few years. Well, but then when I came back, I can't really remember. I mean, I think it was actually when Fully Kazan was up at Planet Fitness, and I came up there. You were doing it up there, but also in town as well. And I think it was the MMA side that I came back to. But I've never been a big fan of getting punched in the face. I've never, even from kickboxing days, I've never really got over disliking getting punched on the nose hard.
I think it's a pretty good feeling to have when you get hit in the face. If you're one of these people who pretend to enjoy it, and all that kind of macho bullshit. I don't believe them. I think being open and honest about being not hit in the face is probably the best way of not being hit in the face. So
yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think I'm gonna love
it. You shouldn't. If you love it, you're doing something wrong. So
I read a boxing book once, and it talked about getting punched in the face, and it's saying that at the actual time when you're training and you get punched in the face, you don't really, it doesn't really bother you, but it's when you go home and it's the day after or the day after that when you've got to go back to training again that you start making the excuses as to why you don't want to go. And it's that tapering off. I don't think anyone ever goes to a class and gets, I mean, this could apply to jiu-jitsu as well, of getting smashed. At the time, when the adrenaline's going, it doesn't really bother you. But then you go home and you start thinking, I might not go tomorrow because I'm feeling my legs hurting or whatever. But it's more to do with the fact that you've either been smacked on the nose or you've been smashed in training, you know. And I think that's I think it's really important to accept it's that instead of the excuses that you start making. That mean that you never. That's probably why a lot of people just stop training altogether, really.
So what advice would you give? Is it just to accept it, or is there anything that you can think of which has helped get past that? Because I think with what we do, because pain is definitely linked to everything that we do in martial arts or jiu-jitsu, MMA. It can be hard to get over that hurdle of, you're going to be in pain for a little bit, so you're going to have to either work through it or quit. And like I say, I think a lot of people take the option to quit, don't they, because they don't want to feel the pain. Is there anything that's helped you over your time training deal with the pain that you're constantly kind of feeling and experiencing?
Yeah, I stopped doing striking. Put a gi on. I think it's management of the classes, so that nobody is allowed to be going too hard with somebody who's not either used to it or is not as experienced. I mean, if you go back to the older days of Fooling Kazad, there used to be some real tear-ups and there was some hard sparring. And a few people have said to me that the gym had a bit of a reputation for being a bit of a tough gym at the time. And you either sink or swim in that. You either love it, or you disappear, or you just do gi.
Yeah.
I mean, even to an extent, like I said, like I tried the judo 20 years ago. Judo has quite a mentality of hard sparring, and it doesn't matter whether you're a black belt or a white belt. The way that they spar is physical. So for a newcomer to it, it's not personal, and they're all nice people, but it's just they are used to the physicality of it. And I think with a striking or whatever, if somebody goes too hard with you and you don't understand that it's not personal, that could put someone off as well. So it's maybe an understanding of what's going on, really.
Yeah.
The fact is, if you want to do MMA, you've got to learn to be able. You've got to have been smacked hard before you get in a cage.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't be smacked hard every single session.
Yeah.
But you've got to have been in that position where you've really had a proper fight, I think, because I've seen people freeze in a cage after they've been hit hard, and it's just it just changes them, doesn't it? I mean, it's Mike Tyson's phrase and all that sort of thing. So
absolutely. Well, not many people know that you've actually competed in MMA, haven't you, Steve?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was I mean, that was really early on. I mean, that was like 2001 again or something like that. I didn't. Yeah. Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think I think unless you've actually competed, it's hard to explain that. And a lot of people kind of look at you as just the jiu-jitsu general and all that kind of thing in the gym, but people don't understand your training in kickboxing that you've done, they don't understand, you know, that you have actually competed. You know, so you've had that butterflies, you've had that person kicking you, you've had that exchange, and it is really difficult, isn't it, to kind of explain that, you know, you're going to get hit and it's going to suck. Like, you think you're a big, bad, horrible, you know, monster. You think you're going to be able to do this, but you're going to have hundreds of people watching you, and you're going to get hit, and you're going to have to deal with that fact in front of a lot of people watching you, and that, not only experiencing that for the first time, but being in that kind of environment is very different.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah. I mean, it was just never for me. I enjoy the trading. I could probably still enjoy doing bits of MMA, but every time I've come back to it, it's just the actual speed and physicality of it with younger lads. It's just not for me. I just, you know, I just can't be arsed with that sort of. I admire people who do MMA, but I think if you're going to do MMA, you've got to be in it for the right reason, because otherwise, it'll just be a labour rather than something that you love. If you're doing it for the Instagram posts and the notoriety, it's not going to work. You maybe got to be a little bit unhinged, really. A bit like goalkeepers in football and drummers in bands. They're all fucking mental, aren't they? So I think that's the MMA people of martial arts are the drummers, because they're all slightly mad.
I like that.
Do you think a lot's changed around with? Oh, he's gone. See,
I'm still in.
Back. Hey. Do you think a lot of kind of people's perception and attitude towards, like, I think we're seeing it a little bit in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now, changed because of social media, and, you know, you see people like always trying to get like sponsorship and things like that. How much of an effect do you think that's had on kind of people's opinions and people being able to coach those people as well?
Oh, his volume's gone. You're going to have to repeat that question in a minute.
Come on, Stevie. He's
gone. Oh, no, he's gone.
We'll give him a second, see if he joins again.
I didn't know he competed in MMA, though.
Yeah.
That's interesting, that.
Yeah. Did like a little tournament thing.
Ah, right, okay.
Oh.
Give it a go. Dun, dun, dun. There we go, connected. Hello?
Hey!
Okay, yeah, that's better. Yeah, we're back now. We're back.
Excellent.
Good man.
Right, go back.
Oh, it's done again.
Oh no. We might have lost him again.
Hello?
Were you playing then, or?
Sound's gone again. You know he's serious when the glasses go on, don't you?
Speak, Stevie.
No, it's gone.
His sound's gone again.
We've had so many technical hitches this week.
There's been a few. We tried a couple of Zoom things. We tried a Zoom watch along yesterday, and that didn't go very well. So we put on Instagram.
Yeah.
Which went well. If this doesn't work, he's going to his car. Send him to his car.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. 'Cause it worked really well, didn't it, then? During the test.
We tested it, people. I promise you.
We did test this.
Stevie. Why is your sound going?
Can you hear me?
Yeah!
Hello. Where's yours going?
We might have to do a two-part.
Where's yours going?
Steve. I might do the game with this. We'll
Go on then.
So quickly,
are you working?
So I was just saying, do you think people's attitudes are changing because of social media?
In the BJJ world? Or
yeah.
And MMA as well.
Oh, okay.
Definitely. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
We can't now.
Gone, bud.
Can't hear you, I'm afraid.
No, we might have to have a last-minute replacement. Go to the car.
Yeah, do it from the car. What time are we on? What time did we start? 2:30, didn't we?
Yeah, it feels longer.
All right.
Right,
well,
last time, if this doesn't work, we'll get Andy Whiteland to replace him.
I'll have to put him on again next week, if not.
Yeah, we'll keep trying. Wait till he's driving around and do it while he's driving, maybe.
Yeah, when he's gone to do his shopping again. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you talking.
So,
Steve,
people
if he stays on, or
it's what?
it's not working. If it's not working, we'll just have to sack it off for now.
Yeah, well,
let's see how long
we'll give
it
it
lasts.
one more go. So for people who are getting involved in kind of mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu, what would, just now and just wanting to get involved, what would be your advice for them?
Go somewhere that's good.
It's good advice.
There's too many, as Matt Burns calls it, pastiche MMA and BJJ clubs, which are watered down versions of MMA. I mean, the worst ones are probably Krav Maga type stuff, but there's MMA clubs that are shit. And my advice would be to pick somewhere that's good. And it's as simple as that.
So what defines...
But the trouble is that people... Well,
what would you look for?
The trouble is nobody knows. Nobody knows when they first go somewhere. So, I don't know. You need to have people with experience who've been involved for a long time, I think, to understand not just the techniques of doing stuff, but to understand all the things that we're saying about getting punched, getting battered, people bullying people in a fighting sense of it.
Yeah.
You know.
No.
I thought we were gonna keep working there. Oh,
we're
yeah.
back. Bet there's no sound.
I bet there's no sound. There's a cycle going on here, isn't it?
Okay.
Oh, what?
Is he back? Talk. No, nothing. Should we add Andy Whiteland onto this for the last 5-10 minutes or something? Are we going to try it again?
Oh, let's just...
We're having technical difficulties for people who've just joined.
Yeah.
Oh. I think this is a conspiracy.
What kind of conspiracy?
Are you surrounded by brown
People don't want me to... Yes. and I think people are stopping me telling you my bullshit.
Do you think it's those bad gyms you've just called out?
Yeah. I didn't name them though.
Okay, so I think we're probably going to lose you again because I'm seeing a pattern. Yeah, I'm trained in IT. So, Stevie, we might have to do this again, but like in person when we can actually do it in person, or when we've got a youth on standby to help you at your end, or when you go driving, maybe. How are you dealing with the lockdown though?
It's shit, innit? It's fucking terrible.
Are you doing any training, or are you just?
Are you sacking it off and just thinking I'll have a rest?
I'm just no. I am. I've been doing a lot of Joe Wick stuff. Kettlebells and dumbbells, and my knee feels a lot better. a lot of hate stuff, and just generally getting angry at, at social media and people talking shit.
Oh, really?
Like
Yeah.
what? Give us some examples.
Well, all the conspiracy.
Oh, that.
Just all the not in a jiu-jitsu sense, but just everything that's going on at the moment. I mean, so the lockdown is wank. It's it's boring. I can't go training, and I've just realised the connection's good again now, so we can start all over again.
It's on! It's on!
No!
5G! I knew it! Oh. He's back. No, he's not back.
Oh. I think we're getting into some gold there.
Oh, he's back!
Oh, there we go.
Can we hear him though?
Sound will have gone now, because that's what happens.
Alright, Stevie, I think we'll call this a draw. Definitely call it a draw. We'll try again, maybe another day, Stevie, because there's some absolute gold and some good advice that I think people can get out of you. And
we need to carry on. We need to do more of this rant, to be fair.
I'd love to hear more ranting around 5G. Thanks, Stevie. Thanks for joining us. And, it's your connection. You're the problem. I'm usually the problem, and you're the problem this time, pal. Right then, what we're doing now, we're going to do a little bit more. See if we can get Andy back on. Oh,
what's he doing now? Do I need to finish it? Or
I don't know.
Should we just wait and see what he's doing a little bit?
Does this happen? Because Andy said he'll jump on if Steve.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Go on then. Add him on.
So
keep Steve on.
All right, keep him on.
Entertainment.
Oh, I don't think we can look. You can only that icon's gone, so I think you can.
All right. Okay. Bye, Steve.
Bye, Steve. Moving you. Okay. Let's get Andy on.
This is a bad podcast. We apologise.
Andy!
Now then, the whole thing kept stopping and starting for me.
What? Oh, really? Including us?
I had to keep rejoining. It wasn't. It seemed troubled from the start.
That's a good way of describing Steve.
You pretty much summed up our relationship with Steve. But we love him. We do like him a lot.
We do.
So how's it going, Andy? Thank you for substituting for Steve.
Yes, thank you.
Do you want to carry on about the conspiracy theories, or
Yeah, it's utter
anything
rubbish.
you want to call out?
It's utter rubbish. He's correct. He's right to get cross with them and mad and angry.
What's your favourite conspiracy theory you've heard?
That the Russian GRU are blocking 5G from the Chinese so that nobody can boil a kettle.
Is that really a thing?
I like that one.
We'll go with that's one now because it's on the internet.
Yeah.
Someone will use this as evidence.
Someone can now repeat it and it will be fact.
We'll have to get at some point. We'll have to get Matty Byrne on because Matty Byrne must be going absolutely mental with the shit that he's reading. The kid spent a lifetime.
We could do question hour with Matty Byrne.
Yeah, we could do a science question hour.
I like that.
I don't think Matty would want to do that.
No.
But the kid's done how much studying. He's a legit professor, and people are just sending him stuff from YouTube. Oh, brilliant. So, how's your week been, Anne? What have you been up to?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, just steady away. I've still, fortunately, had a bit of work on with working from home. And so I've been doing that. I've been doing a bit of the visualization that I mentioned last week. A little bit of trying to keep a bit fit with a couple of circuits and what have you. Although I've never watched EastEnders, so I'm not familiar with Joe Wicks. But Yeah, just the usual stuff, and following your excellent output on the internet, of course, Sensei.
It's very nice. Yeah, we tried doing a couple of Zoom classes. The kickboxing one was quite good.
That went well,
I think that went quite well. And, you know, I've chopped up the grappling one that we did on Thursday and started putting that out as well via YouTube, so people can see that as well.
Zoom's a pretty good tool to use, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, it's been good. I think what's been the biggest blocker with Zoom is you have to do a different thing to what you normally do. So like Instagram, everyone's always on Instagram, whereas Zoom, you have to either download the app or go to that. Then you have to put a meeting code in, and I think like from a business point of view, that's things that I'm quite familiar with because I do it every day, and Marie's able to do that every day. And I'm sure you do, Andy, as well. But for some people, it can be a little bit of a thing to work out. So we're looking at other ways. So we've been doing a few things on Instagram as well. So we did the watch along last night. But yeah,
never going to watch that film again.
Have you watched College Kickboxer, And?
No.
Why?
Why did you not join us to watch?
I didn't. I must admit, I saw it happening, but I didn't join you. No, sorry. Very remiss.
It's a terrible film. Don't bother.
Oh, brilliant!
Right.
Teaches so much about martial arts.
72 Desperate Rebels, which I mentioned next week, is on YouTube in full.
Right.
Someone's pirated it. It's not good. It's not good quality, but it's hilarious.
That sounds a good one then. Maybe we give that a go.
That's how I teach my classes.
The intro's brilliant.
It's not good quality, but it's pirated. Jiu-jitsu.
Terrible. No, but I think with the Zoom classes that we've had on, what's been really interesting is how you've kind of adapted drills and how to do different things when you don't have any equipment. Because I think that's quite good. Like I've seen a lot of people putting stuff out there at the moment, which is good. But there have been some things where I kind of think, oh, well, that person's not going to have that at home, or generally, people are not going to have that sort of stuff at home. Obviously, movement drills you can do all the time anyway. You can look up and you can do. But I do like getting creative with using the chair and all that sort of stuff, using pillows, using bits of paper. I think that's quite good.
Mm. Yeah,
I've got a question for you, Mark, actually, which came. I was watching YouTube this week, and it was on Flow Grappling, the Flow Grappling YouTube site, and Keenan Cornelius was being interviewed, and he made a comment. He said, "No gi jiu-jitsu is imploding," i.e., falling in on itself. I think because he said basically the whole leg lock, Danaher Death Squad movement game has just meant that there's no value in anything else but that. And guard passing and pinning and what have you is dead. That's what he said. You can see it on Flow Grappling. If you put Keenan Cornelius,
I've seen it. I've actually watched it, and
right.
Yeah, so I know what you're talking about. I think to an extent, I'm not sure if I don't think it's made it a requirement. So you no longer can do no-gi grappling without understanding leg locks. I think there's a lot of other stuff that you still need to know, but you still need to know how to guard pass, regardless of the leg lock battles becoming this you see it at higher level where it becomes such a big part of no-gi jiu-jitsu now. I think in a year to 2 years' time, that'll really tell us whether no-gi jiu-jitsu is just leg lock wars. I don't think it is, but it's really shown you that leg locks are now a requirement for no-gi grappling. You can't get away with not understanding it. So that traditional approach of there's an old saying, isn't there? The choke's the king, the armbar's the queen, the footlock's the dirty thief. It's like a Brazilian saying, from back in the day. So. There were times when I remember one of my coach Eric Paulson. He won by footlock, and he'd have people throwing. I think Keenan Cornelius might have actually sort of mentioned this in the conversation. But people would throw stuff and boo people who won by leg lock. So if you kind of look at how old jiu-jitsu is, it's not very old, especially in kind of in the how popular it is and how many people do it. You know, we've gone through so many evolutions in such a short space of time. We're now at this new one where, you know, like we've ignored leg locks so long, and I've done that personally. So this is one of the reasons why I'm spending a bit of time kind of breaking down some of the Danaher stuff. I'm starting to, you know, learn the Craig Jones approach and really watching, like, you know, Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonin, Nicky Ryan, like, fantastic, some of his entries. And even like the 10th Planet guys. So like the 10th Planet guys have different approaches to leg locks. You know, it's not that it's there and it's so prevalent because people have ignored it for so long. But then you've got this little subset of people who focused on it and now are super good at it. But you imagine, like, you know, being a high-level grappler, and there's no high-level grapplers there who can't pass guard. There's no high-level grapplers out there who can't pin, you know, from side control. It's just that we're at this point now where everyone's kind of doing these footlock battles. So I think in 2 years' time we'll really get a good view of kind of what jiu-jitsu no-gi is going to be. But I would rebuttal that argument and say, you know, in gi jiu-jitsu, you can't do gi jiu-jitsu without learning grips. But you can't, can you? I mean, it's just, you know, it's like, it's such now, it's more grip-based than it ever has been. You know, like early on when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I could roll, you know, quite a bit and never really grip. You know, never worry about, like, getting choked or, you know, all the different lapel guards that he's developing and things like that. So he's in a position, he's in the exact same position that the leg lock guys are, where he's developing all these different types of grips, and this is why he's winning competitions, because no one else knows it. No one else knows the grips that he does. So when he's going out and he's actually fighting, he's got an entire arsenal that most people don't understand. So for me personally, it's a redundant argument, because, you know, he's doing the thing that the leg lockers are doing in no-gi grappling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my opinion.
Good perspective on it, and you know that's brilliant to hear. I just didn't know what you thought about it, and I didn't know how you might have modified or shaped what you teach because of that sort of debate, really.
Absolutely, and this is something that this time is giving me to really review and recap a lot of the no-gi that I teach. So one of the things which I am emphasising and really looking at is the leg lock game. Thinking, at what point do we put leg locks into people's games? So if we've got someone brand new, never done anything, starting to get interested in no-gi jiu-jitsu, do we start teaching that person leg locks straight away? And I guess this is where I'm spending a little bit of time thinking, you know, potentially we might have to, even if it's just a basic thing of like a straight foot lock. So, you know, I am spending quite a bit of time just watching competitions at various different levels and try to plan out, right, how am I going to coach someone to compete in modern day no-gi jiu-jitsu? So, but that's great. You know, for me, like, you could take the approach of, you know, this is bad, we shouldn't do this, you know, we should ban leg locks and we should never have this, or you look at it as an opportunity to develop your own game. Like, my leg locks aren't great. You know, I'm not a great leg locker at all. But, you know, you can do two things. You can either go, right, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to do jiu-jitsu, and then you get pissed off because there's all these brand new lapel holds, and then you get pissed off at that, you end up doing what? You know, nothing. You just keep going, you know, you just try to find, you do wrestling.
But I suppose the fact that a straight ankle lock is allowed at white belt in gi jiu-jitsu and IBJJF rules, does that mean that maybe it is worth bringing it in earlier because it's part of a notional white belt level?
Yeah, I think it is. And one of the things which I'm spending a bit of time, and this is what I'm doing on SBG Online, I'm trying to structure kind of, you know, what are the basics of what you need to understand and learn at the various different levels. And it's difficult because I've always sort of said that, you know, we teach we teach, you know, a lot of different techniques to white belts, blue belts that they can't do until the brown belt. But I don't really believe that jiu-jitsu should be categorized around just IBJJF.
No.
You know, because, you know, I think there's everyone seems to be going down different routes, don't they? So we've now got all these weird little subsections of jiu-jitsu. So we've got the Danaher guys who are really good leg lockers. Then you've got, you know, 10th Planet who do pretty much all the different weird stuff that no one else is doing. Sorry, it's not weird, but just very different ways of moving and things like that. Then you've got kind of your Gracie Bajas, which have got kind of the structure and things like that. And then you've got the Gracie Combatives, where, you know, there's no actual roll until blue belt, and they have a very structured and I wouldn't say rigid, but a very structured approach to how to teach someone jiu-jitsu, which I kind of like and I understand. If I'm trying to learn something, and Henna's been putting out quite a few things around kind of learning jiu-jitsu. For some academies, it's this weird thing, isn't it? At some point, someone makes a decision that you're now a blue belt. There's no real structure there. There's no real way of learning jiu-jitsu. It's just, oh, you're a blue belt now. And I think this is something that SBG do quite well, where they've kind of got an introductory course, and, you know, Matt Thornton spends a year just teaching one area. So like this year it's been survive and escape, and, you know, I quite like that, and that structure of focusing on something is really good. But then, you know, how do you structure it for people who might have different goals? It's interesting. You know, I'm enjoying thinking about it. I'm enjoying having that time to kind of break it down.
Yeah, well, it is interesting to think about stuff, I think, and you've probably done so much yourself in terms of your fight career and so much teaching just week to week. You've not really had a chance to sit back and think about it, I imagine. I don't know.
No. It's something I always try and schedule in. So like each year, I'd like to kind of review what we've taught. I'd like to review kind of how people have performed at competitions. Not because competition is the priority. You know, learning jiu-jitsu, having fun, enjoying it. You know, that should be our priority. But, you know, I think you need to review how effective you've been as a coach sometimes by looking at, right, who's enjoying training, you know, who's coming through the door repeatedly, how many people we're losing, you know, went through beginner courses, because and it's the first time Stevie kind of talks around this. You know, we used to have a bit of a reputation as a bit of a tough gym, and we've talked about this in the past, haven't we? Where I think we mentioned it in your podcast that, you know, Full and Kazan has always had a little bit of a, you know, you're gonna go in and you're gonna have to grind a little bit, which has served us well to a point. But now I want to make it a little more accessible, but still be able to produce, you know, good fighters and results as well. So it's good. I mean, you know, I think I'm not sure actually. Yeah, it's been good to sit down, like me and Marie. You know, we didn't have a chance this week, but we've actually been sat side by side reviewing techniques and then exchanging kind of, right, what did you take from that? Because, you know, like I've done jiu-jitsu and martial arts for such a long period of time. There's stuff I miss or stuff I assume other people know because I do it day in, day out, and I've done it for day in, day out for 20 years. So that's been really useful as well.
Yeah. Well, I think it is useful to reflect, but yeah, I was very scared of you at first when I first met you. Genuinely.
It's the years.
It was.
Yeah, I mean,
was that a reputation thing, or was that
a bit the whole Godfather of Northern Day thing? And I was at a seminar once that Combat Base staged at Cage Steel, and I saw Mark out of the corner of my eye, and I went, "Oh, that's the guy from Bradford." Yeah, and he came in, and he must have been playing about, but he Kimura'd a guy, and he went like that. But he was playing about. But I thought, oh shit, yeah, look, he is an animal.
We're trying slowly to change the opinion.
He must have been playing about. He must have known the guy. He must have messed it out. Yeah. I just turned my head and he went like that just as you ripped the Kimura up.
Yeah, I don't really kind of do that. The whole macho bullshit thing doesn't really work when you've got pictures on your Instagram of you cuddling your cat. So it's not something I'm trying to hold up as a personality or a. But yeah, so I mean that's it has been. It's been interesting having time to kind of sit and think about stuff. I mean, to be perfectly honest, work has been pretty busy. You know, I'm having to do that. I'm hoping we calm down a little bit this week, and we've got most people up and working, and most of our services kind of stabilised, and because we help a lot of people across Bradford, so I'm hoping things chill out a little there, where I get a little bit of time in the evening to sit down and start really plotting out and thinking about what I want to do when we get back. But it's fun. Yeah, it's been really fun.
What do you think about doing the beginners, Andy?
Well, I think it's really enjoyable to be involved with it with Jason as well. Obviously, it's just enjoyable to do it. It helps. I think you when you're delivering that or trying to teach people that, it helps you understand fundamental techniques better, because you have to think about them in such detail and just take yourself through them again. So it's beneficial to actually have to teach them. It's really enjoyable to just help people get introduced to jiu-jitsu, and hopefully they enjoy it. It's really enjoyable. It's a great opportunity to do it, and I think the way you've structured it, there's been quite a good retention rate of people hanging around, it seems to me. Try to do it in a nice in such a way that it's fun as well as engaging, and I think it's been a great thing. Obviously you didn't have a set beginners program for a fair while at the gym, but I think it's something that's really worthwhile progressing with, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I am thinking about quite a bit is the beginner course that we run at the gym. I do think maybe adding a little bit more self-defensive stuff could be a good thing. I don't mean the kind of long-winded kind of wrist locky stuff and fighting against people with knives. But I think just there's a couple of things that SBG guys do around like headlock and some things which sometimes when you go into jiu-jitsu gyms I don't think you really see, but if you're going to get attacked, someone's probably going to try and headlock you. I mean, the amount of street fights I've seen, and and even like fighting on a rugby pitch, it is a default thing. Someone will grab your head and then start punching you like this. So I've seen it so many times, but we don't teach it. So for me, I think it's finding that balance of you still need to understand some of the self-defense stuff, but here's the cool jiu-jitsu stuff, keep you coming in, get you really excited, and get you buying your first purple belt rash guard when you get a purple belt and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, it's a bit embarrassing if you got headlocked by somebody and you just won the British Open the previous week and you couldn't get out of the headlock, wouldn't it, really?
I did. This is the ridiculous thing, right? It was a few years ago when I was playing rugby. It must have been about 4 years ago. I decided to play rugby for a little bit. Oh no, it'd be a bit longer, maybe 6 years ago. So I think I were purple or brown belt. And for weeks, everyone were really excited about it kicking off, because they thought we were going to like break out in some kung fu stuff and start chopping people. Fight started. This kid ran over towards me. I swung at him and I missed. I missed really badly. But I overcommitted so much on my punch. I actually ended up with my head down. He headlocked me. Couldn't get out. Couldn't get out. We got split up, right? I've never seen 12 men look so disappointed at me in all my life. All 12 were like, what the fuck was that, Mark? What was that? You're a black belt in kickboxing. You're either brown or purple belt in jiu-jitsu. It was ridiculous. I was pissing myself. Absolutely crying. Because the kid couldn't hit me hard either because I was struggling so much, but I couldn't get out of his headlock at all. It was so ridiculous. But afterwards, like, someone actually came up to me in the change room, like, the fuck was that? Like, I just came up to me in the change room, like, are you sure you've done something? Like, so maybe it's that. Maybe that's the reason why I want to go back and add it in, just so if I start fighting on the rugby pitch again, I can get out.
Right the wrongs of rugby fights, yeah, definitely. No, I look forward to hearing your plans anyway. It'd be great, and I'm sure it'll be really attractive for people to come and get involved with SBG. So, yeah, that sounds fantastic.
Cool. So Andy as the SBG Bradford head of marketing and PR and current affairs. Steve's head of conspiracy theories. Sorry, you can't have that one. Who are we getting on next?
I think, well, we need to have a little bit more of Mr. Murgatroyd, because I was hoping he would be drilling down into his judo career as well as his BJJ career in detail, not in passing. I had a question lined up. What's his Tokui waza, which means what's his favourite technique? Apparently, said on the internet.
Right. As long as he's not going to kill us somehow, I'll be all right with asking that question.
I think you know, Mr. and Mrs. Doyle will be excellent value. Obviously, I think a four-header, you two and Mr. and Mrs. Doyle would be good. Maybe some of the younger element as well. You know, don't know, maybe Zulk, somebody like that.
You're going to say that. How much has Zulk paid you?
Yeah, no.
Quality, mate. Yeah, all right. So we'll have a chat with James and Joe, and maybe either do a couple special, or we
could grill them separately.
Grill them separately,
talk about
maybe.
each other.
Yeah. James, tell us what you really think about Joe.
They will be socially distancing there.
Cool. Okay, well, we'll wrap that up. Thanks for joining us, and thanks for stepping in. We will definitely do the Stephen Murgatroyd files.
Need to do it. Nowhere near as interesting.
But yeah, thanks, Andy. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Same time next week, unless we all are allowed to go out.
No, we can't. We've got 3 weeks, haven't we now?
3 weeks.
Another
3 weeks. 3 weeks. If you all pay us a lot of money, we'll do 2 of these a week. You know, we need it.
Don't lie, we're just bored.
If anyone works for the government, can you ask what's going on with our financial help? The good government, not the 5G government. I don't know. I don't want their help. I might get arrested.
Right, we're going to stop the podcast now because it's going downhill fast.
Well,
unless we get rid of you, me and Andy will just talk.
Steve's already got off the pony. Andy, thank you very much. James, Joe, we'll be in touch. Time to get off the pony.
Bye.
Bye.